Here's the thing that drives me nutty. You can buy Tylenol over the counter. You can buy all kinds of medications over the counter that if you overdose on them, you can kill yourself. You can get Tylenol and continue to take it every day, even at the regular dose, and cause a bleeding ulcer. What damage has a CGM ever done to anybody? I have no idea. I am super excited about today's topic. I've been using one of these for myself for the last 5 or 6 years, as soon as they became more publicly available. And I have seen miraculous shifts in people when they use this. What am I talking about? A CGM, continuous glucose meter. Continuous glucose meters, it's a little device that attaches either to the arm or the belly. And it basically is continuously, as the name says, monitoring glucose levels. Why would we want to do that? Well, because it's super important to monitor people's glucose levels. 93% of the population is metabolically unwell. 93% of the people in this world have indications that their glucose and insulin regulation is whacked out. And as we talked about in our previous episode, when glucose is out of balance, when glucose insulin dysregulation exists, it can lead to so many other problems, so many health challenges that are commonplace that we see. Excess belly fat, fatigue, brain fog, sugar cravings, and then the more serious ones like kidney issues, cardiovascular issues, peripheral neuropathy, and vision problems. You might be saying, well, those are only problems if somebody has diabetes. No, they're problems when somebody has metabolic dysregulation and they may be decades away from having diabetes and they start to develop these symptoms or the early signs of it. And the biggest one, and the one that scares the heck out of me because of my family history, is cardiovascular. And that's why I am so meticulous. And I wear continuous glucose meters as much as I possibly can, because I want to keep my glucose under regulation, under tight control. And the CGMs help us to really see what is going on with people's glucose over a period of time, over the day, what all these different activities, the different foods are doing to the glucose. And it does so without having to have the person prick their fingers every 15 minutes all day long to try to figure it out. There's different companies that make CGMs, and there's different ways to go about getting them. One way is, as a physician or a nurse practitioner, you have the ability to write a prescription and recommend one to somebody. The companies that I'm most familiar with that are the Dexcom and the Abbott Freestyle Libre. There's also a third one that comes from a company called Medtronic, and I recently came upon that one and haven't really researched it all that much. I've used both the Dexcom and the Freestyle Libre. There's always new models coming out. How do you get one, right? First of all, if the doctor writes a prescription, you can just go to any pharmacy with the prescription or an online pharmacy. Edwards Healthcare, I think it is online, is one that we've ordered through. And I've prescribed it for my husband. I prescribed it for some other, folks here in Texas because my license only spans Texas. The ease of that compared to going to the doctor and saying, I want a prescription. Most of them, I would say 75% of most doctors will say, why? You're not diabetic. I tell people to say, yet. But if I continue the way I'm going and I continue to not monitor, I may become diabetic, and I don't want that. But another way to do it is there's several companies that will write the prescription for you. And there's at least 4 companies that I know of right now. The one that I'm using right now is called Thea Health. The reason I'm using that one is because it's easy and it's less expensive than some of the others. All of these places that do it have an app, and that hooks your sensor and it transmits into the app. And that app works on a cell phone, an iPhone. It works on a tablet, like an iPad. So there's Thea Health, which is the one I use. There's Levels, which I did use at first when they came out because they were the only game in town. There was NutriSense, and there's another one called January.ai. And there's probably new ones sprouting up all over the place for that because they see the market. Years ago, when I first started wearing my CGM, people would come up to me and go, what's that thing on your arm? Oh, are you diabetic? I'm like, no, I'm just concerned and I don't want to become diabetic. Even health practitioner colleagues would say that to me. Now, everybody knows what a CGM is. And so they see it and they go, oh, what's that? What does that do? Oh, I've heard of that. Like, which one do you like the best? It's come to be that metabolic health and CGMs and glucose testing is like almost mainstream. So it's time you got on board if you're not already doing it. The misconceptions about them are that it hurts. You're putting a needle in it. It's going to be there all the time and it's going to hurt. No, it's a filament that's thinner than an acupuncture needle. You basically put it, and there's a little device that gives it a speed, little device, and it doesn't hurt. It really doesn't. You might feel a tiny pinprick. And I've done these dozens and dozens of times. So it's not a big deal. And the kind of information we can get from it are just phenomenal. The other concern is the finances, right? With the arrangement I have with Signos, you have to buy 6 months of them at a time or a year or something. Yeah, so 6 months at a time, it costs $720 or something with a coupon code. Bargain hunt, look for the best deals and get it that way. The best deal that you're going to get is if you get your doctor to prescribe it or you prescribe it for someone and they can go to the pharmacy and then they can claim, I'm on Medicare. I know Medicare doesn't cover this, but can I get a coupon code? And we've been able to get coupon codes to get them for less. They generally cost like $68-ish at one of the pharmacies, one of the chain pharmacies. But we were able to get them down to almost like about $40. Not everybody can do that. Not every pharmacy is open to that, but look around and have people look around. Here's the thing that drives me nutty. You can buy Tylenol over the counter. You can buy all kinds of medications over the counter that if you overdose on them, you can kill yourself. You can get Tylenol and continue to take it every day, even at the regular dose, and cause a bleeding ulcer. So what damage has a CGM ever done to anybody? I have no idea. People say, well, how do you take a shower? How do you take a bath? How do you go swimming? I can't do it. I go swimming. I go swimming a lot. And I'm in the water all the time. I'm in the salt water. There's bandages and coverings you can put over them. You don't have to, but you can. They don't recommend submerging it for more than a half an hour at a time. Privacy, data security. People say, well, who's going to have all my data when I have this on my cell phone and it's transmitting the data? Well, who's going to have it? You. How much EMF is there produced? And everything I've looked at says it's negligible. I would say do the research if it comes up so that you can show them it's negligible. I believe that the benefits outweigh the risk. I find that in both sensors that I've tried, the Dexcom and the Freestyle, that there's a warm-up period. In usually the first 24, sometimes 48 hours, it's just wacky. It's up and down and all over the place till it gets adjusted to you. You can improve the sensor longevity by wearing one of these coverings over it. And they have specific ones that they're really good. They're waterproof and they also help prevent you from accidentally knocking it off. I'm not saying you should be recommending that people do this every day for the rest of their life, but to get a 2 months check and see how things are affecting them, have them make changes, and then maybe in another 2 months, go back and retest it for a month and see how it goes, or even 2 weeks to see if things have stabilized and see if maybe there's some foods they might be able to sneak back in. And I'm not talking M&Ms, guys. I'm not talking chocolate chip cookies. I'm talking things like pineapple and papaya and mango. They may not be able to eat those initially when you first start testing them, or you may be able to figure out with them, how do they eat mangoes? Like with a big salad or with a green smoothie without fruit. How do they do that? And how do they do a metabolic reset? In the insulin resistance program that we do, we teach you how to do a 30-day metabolic reset. Let me tell you, the results have been nothing short of miraculous. So I highly recommend that you check that out. Go to our site at INEmethod.com and it'll tell you all the different things that we have available, because I'm passionate about getting this message out there and getting more and more practitioners on the road to truly helping people get well by getting to the root cause. You've got to take this in your hands. We, as functional health practitioners, as nutritional health practitioners, we have the power to save lives and transform lives way more than any other aspect of medicine, of healthcare. And yeah, we need medicine. Don't get me wrong. We need emergency care. We need medications sometimes. But too many people are just put on metformin and put on insulin when they don't really need it. We've actually had people go off their insulin after they were told that they had to go on insulin. Learn what you can. We have a whole bunch in our metabolic health sequence, our theme on ReInvent Healthcare. So go check it out. Look at metabolic health. You'll learn a whole lot about it, and there's more to come. For more information on functional lab testing, click on this video over here. And don't forget to like and subscribe and share for ongoing information about metabolic health and functional health and nutritional endocrinology.